Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Isharo Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. 380. Anatma Chintanam Tektva Kasmalam Dukha Karanam Chintay Atmanam Anandarupam Yan Mukti Karanam. I repeat again. Anatma Chintanam Tektva Kasmalam Dukha Karanam Chintay Atmanam Anandarupam Yan Mukti Karanam. The translation is, having renounced all thoughts of the not-self, which is impure and source of misery, dwell on the self, the bliss absolute, and the source of liberation. See the translation one more time. Giving up the thought of the not-self, which is impure and productive of misery, think of self, the bliss absolute, which conduces to liberation. We have entered in topic meditation. The technique of meditation. In the previous verse, it has started. This is the second verse. What is the state of meditation? All preparations has been done by a meditator, like good place, good time, posture, close of sense organs. Then, what should a meditator do? All preliminary preparations are nothing, just withdrawal from the action. So, having done all preparations, now he is ready to meditate. Meditation means what? The meditation means the state of not doing. And we are so obsessed with doing, we think, if I do, then I will get. I will do this, I will get this. I will do that, I will get that. If I will do more, I will get more. Action is cause for everything. So this is the principle which is working in the world. Cause and effect. Cause is action and all world is its effect. Yes, this principle is right. If I want something, I have to work. I want something, it means I don't have that. That is why I want. And our wanting is in the future. Your hope is in the future. Fulfill hope, you have to work. And you have to wait its result, which is hidden in the future. You will get or not, it is a different matter. So action means what? What action does? Action is like a bridge. A bridge between us and our desires. You and other object. So action is like a bridge. This is the rule of the universe. You do and get. Very simple. Everyone knows it. Even animal also knows. Do and get. According to this principle, we have assumed that happiness I can get by this principle. For happiness, I have to do something. We assume that happiness is also a thing which can be gained by action in the future. So we have a big hope. Hope is in future. I will get, I will gain, and I am waiting, always waiting. Happiness will come, happiness will come, happiness will come. But yet, happiness has not come. Waiting to continue. Happiness is in the future. And I am here. So there is no meeting between us and happiness. Happiness not a thing. Happiness not a thing which is in the future and which can be achieved by any action. Happiness is not a thing. Happiness is not commodity which cannot sell or buy. It is not available in the market. It is not available in the supermarket, which cannot be sold or buy. Even it is not created by Creator Brahma. Happiness is neither worldly nor heavenly thing. Happiness is not a thing. It is divine presence. It is a divine presence in the world which can be experienced right now by us, right now. It is not in the future. It is not in the past. It is not far away. It is not everywhere. It is everywhere. It is God Himself. So happiness is not in the past, not in the future, far away. It is a divine. It is a God. Here, right now. That is why in our scriptures, there is a saying, Lord Ram was told by Vasishtha. Vasishtha was Guru. So Lord Ram was studying with Guru Vasishtha. And once he said to the Lord Ram, first I chant a slok. Ena kena prakarena yasi kasyapi dehina santosam janayadrama tadeva ishwar pujanam. I chant, now I translate it. Vasishtha said, O Ram, however, or whatever means to whichever or whatever embodiment give happiness. This alone is worship of the God. And see the principle of happiness. If you are happy, being happy is one way of being close to the self. You are happy, it means you are very close to yourself. It indicates you are very close because you are happy. Your happiness takes you a step further to strive, share happiness with whosoever that come across, no matter the time, space, or species. Happiness is overflowing. You cannot control your happiness. It is like rose flower smell. Its fragrance, rose flower cannot control it. It naturally, anyone can take it. Happiness is its fragrance. The best feeling of the happiness is when you are happy that you have made someone else happy. Giving happiness and causing no harm. That is road to paradise. So happiness is God Himself. So its path is just opposite from the world. Just opposite from the world. In world, action is needed. Without action, you cannot survive in the world. Take just opposite way. Cessation of all activity. In meditation, cessation of all activity, not doing anything. Giving up thought of not self. Now, he is ready to meditate. All activities has been given up. And make understand the mind to concentrate upon the self, which is absolute bliss. Here, very important word is anatma chintanam tyaktva. In meditation state, you have to renounce all not self-thinking, not self, because this thinking is kasmalam dukkha karanam. By this thinking, you will get only miseries, not happiness. We always think about happiness. Always, knowingly, unknowingly, always we think not only human beings, every living beings. But we never get full happiness. That is why we want it always. Quest of happiness is unsolved. The thirst of happiness is not quenched. So we try always with so many ways how to achieve this happiness. Shankaracharya says, Anatmam Chintanam Dukkha Karanam. It will produce only misery. Thinking of objects, thinking of others, it will give only miseries. So you have to think Chinta Atmanam Ananda Rupam. In state of meditation, only one work you can do, because mind is an instrument. Its work is produce something, produce some thought. Every time, every moment. So if you are not thinking about the concept, not self, then mind will demand, give me another thought. Shankaracharya says immediately, without delay, you give thought of the consciousness. Tell to mind, think about the consciousness, Brahman, God, whatever name you can give. Now next verse. एष स्वयं ज्योतिरशेष साक्षी विज्ञान कोशो विलसत्यजस्रम लक्ष्यम विधायैनमसद विलक्षण मखंड वृत्त्या आत्मतया अनुभाव. I repeat again. एष स्वयं ज्योतिरशेष साक्षी विज्ञान कोशो विलसत्यजस्रम लक्ष्यम विधायैनम असद विलक्षणम अखंड वृत्त्यात्मतया अनुभाव. The translation is, eternally shines this Atman, the self-effulgent witness of everything, ever manifest in the seat of the intellect, making this Atman, which is distinct from the unreal, the aim of contemplation. Meditate upon it as your own self, eliminating all other thoughts. See the translation again. Here shines the eternally the Atman, self-effulgent witness of everything, which has the intellect for its seat, making this Atman, which is distinct from the unreal, the idea. Meditate on it as your own self, excluding all other thought. Here Shankaracharya is giving explanation about meditation, the procedure of the meditation. In previous verse has been said, dwell on the self. Think about the self. The question will arise in mind of the seeker, what real self is? Because there are so many concepts about the self which has been given many different religion, by different society, by different school of philosophy, different countries, different systems, and even those who does not believe in God consciousness, they are also have their opinion, there is no soul. Like Marcus, communist, and of course scientist, and our own imagination. There are so many concepts about self. Self is like this, self is like that, self is in a body, self is travel, self is not travel. There are so many concepts. You would have been caught in these illusionary images. So vision should be clear. That is why he's making clear what self is. Esha Suyanjo Tirasesa Sakshi. This description is for meditators. Meditators. The first description is this is self-effulgent. This self is known without any medium. Self-effulgent means, here the word is Jyoti. Jyoti is translated as a light, candle light. Someone in their meditation state, they realize a light is inside, light is moving. Sometimes it appears, sometimes does not appear, and it moves up, down, right, left. And light appears in our meditation state. It appears, disappears. You may be satisfied that you have got self-realization. But no, it is not good. It is good glimpses of the subtle world, but it is not self. In meditation, you can see others some divine views, but this is not the self. This is your encouragement. It is sign you are going right path. You are doing good. But here Jyoti does not mean light. Here Jyoti means the one who does not need any proof for its existence. You do not need any proof for yourself. Any proof. You are, I am here. I do not want any proof. So Jyoti. The next one is Asesa Sakshi. Asesa Sakshi. It is witnessing everything. It is witnessing everything. Recently, I read in news that NASA has developed a telescope. They can see a planet very, very far away, very, very far away, very, very far away. The universe is endless. No end. There are so many galaxies. But the consciousness is Asesa Sakshi. It can know everything. It knows everything. Asesa Sakshi. And third thing is Vijnana Koso Vilashati. This consciousness, now he's giving its address. Address. What is address? So address is your intellect. Your intellect is its address, its home, it resides there. Means what? It means that if you want to know, if you want to gain the self, go into intellect. Your intellect, your knowledge is only cause to realization. Your knowledge is, that is why Vedanta says, Sravanam, Mananam, listening. Listen. If you listen, intellect is needed. Without intellect, we cannot listen. Only ears cannot listen. They are dead. Intellect is needed. Then reflection, reasoning. In reasoning, you need intellect. And finally, nididhyasa, the thought of the Brahman. So intellect is needed every time. Vijnana kosho vilasat yajasra. This self always remains in the intellect. So use your proper way intellect. You will find the self. You can find the self. Because self is residing in the intellect. And one more definition. Asad vilakshanam. Asad vilakshanam. Asad means unreal. Unreal. Whatever we have experienced it, all experienced are not real. So we cannot compare what is real, what is unreal. For comparison, at least you need two things. There must be at least two things, then you can compare. This is the better. We have experienced so many things, so many varieties, diversities, but they all are unreal. Only difference is time period. There are some objects are 10 years, some may be 20 years, some may take 50 years, other may take 100 years. So their reality is relative. Their reality is relative. 50 years is real than 20 years. But after 50 years, it is not real. Yet we have experienced, these all experiences are of unreal things. So we do not have any test, any knowledge about real. What real? Then if you don't have any test, any understanding about real, then you cannot compare. Asad Vilakshana means now the seeker, the meditator has received some glimpses of Sat. He has got some taste. He has realized some views. Now he can compare. He can understand this is the real and this is not real. Without that test, no one can differentiate this is the real, this is unreal, because you don't have any idea about real. Then how can you say that this is real, this is not real? Shankaracharya says, Asad Vilakshana. Sat Vilakshanam, you have to know about Sat. So there are some glimpses about Sat. Sometimes objects may appear, other times they are not available. Their availability is not sure. Their availability is depend on the many conditions. Like now we are in waking state. In this state, the gross objects are real and subtle objects are not real. If we are in dream state, then gross objects will not available there. They are not real. So sometimes gross is real, sometimes subtle is real, but both are not real. He says just opposite unreal. So this is your goal. And concentrate upon again and again on this. Akhanda Vritya, unbroken thought. Vritti means thought. And every thought it may be good thought, it may be bad thought, each moment. It happens just for a moment. Every thought has to go. Another thought will have to come. Like waves in the ocean. In the ocean, there are many waves. You enjoy. Waves coming towards shore and disappears. Any ripple are not stable. Any ripples, any waves is not stable. They appears and immediately disappears. Your mind is like ocean. In that ocean, there are thoughts like ripples. Every moment, thoughts appears and disappears. So every thought must break. Every thought is just for a moment. Any thought. It may be thought of Brahman. It does not make any difference. What content is your thoughts? Your thoughts may be anger. Your thought may be Brahman. Thought is just momentary. So akhanda vritti, unbroken thought means what? Here akhand means, Shankaracharya says, the seeker should try to create similar thought. This is your spiritual practice. See very attentively. What is spiritual practice? The spiritual practice is you try to create new thought. Because thought is momentary. Thought cannot be stable. It has to go. But your spiritual practice is very similar thought. You have to create more and more and more. You are thinking like, I am the consciousness. I am not the body. I am not the mind, intellect. I am beyond 5 seats. I am consciousness. This is thought. And next thought can come about any object, the nature of the thought. Thought always change itself. So your spiritual practice is one thought will go, but next thought will come according to your spiritual practices. You create, I am the Brahman, I am not the body, not the mind, I am pure consciousness. This is the meaning of the Akhanda. So Akhanda means the seeker should try to create similar thought. Your spiritual practices repeat the same thought. The content of thought should be the consciousness. Finally, that consciousness and the seeker are not different. Atmatayanubhava. Atmatayanubhava. In very beginning, the meditator is different and meditative point is different. But you meditate continuously, then slowly, what happens? The meditator and the meditative point, they are one. Now next one. एतं छिन्नया वृत्त्या प्रत्यांतर शून्ययः उल्लेख विजानीयात् स्वरूपतयः स्फुटम्. I repeat again. एतं छिन्नया वृत्त्या प्रत्यांतर शून्यया उल्लेखयन् विजानीयात् स्वरूपतयः स्फुटम्. The translation is, contemplating continuously upon this Atman with no intervention of any other thought, one must distinctly realize it is one's own real self. See the translation again. He says, Etam achinnaya vrittya. Contemplating continuously upon this Atman with no intervention of any other thought, one must distinctly realize as its own real self. The 2 points are very important in this verse. They have to understand. We have to understand them. Anichaya vrittya. What really means of meditation? Meditation means unbroken thought. Continuity the same. Patanjali says, understand this verse, we should go through the Patanjali. Etam anichannaya vrittya pratyantar shunyaya. In previous verse has been said, meditate on the self. And self has been described. What really meaning is of meditation? So understand this first, take Patanjali. Patanjali has wrote a sutra about meditation. He said, Tatra pratyekatanata dhyanam. This is the Patanjali's sutra. Tatra pratyekatanata dhyanam. The meaning is, he said, continuation of the same thought, unbroken flow of thought to that object is meditation. Unbroken flow of thought. Tatra pratyekatanata dhyanam. He said, continuation of the same thought in the meditative object is meditation. Now, I would like to tell you a very important thing, very important difference between Patanjali's Yoga Sutra and Vivekchudamani's approach. What's the difference? Patanjali says, Tatra pratyekatanata dhyanam. Whatever your object is in meditation, you can take any object in meditation. According to Patanjali, you can take any object for meditation. The purpose is different. The difference, Patanjali and Shankaracharya is here in meditation because Shankaracharya says your object of the meditation must be self, consciousness, not other than that. But Patanjali is very open mind. He said you can take any object, any object. Tatra does not mean any specific. There, tatra means there, where whatever object you has been taken by you as a meditative point. It may be flower, stone, river, star, moon, sun, anything can be as a point of meditation. But Shankaracharya is very rigid. He is repeating again and again same point. The point of your meditation should be self-consciousness, not any object. For Patanjali, object is not meaningful. But for Shankaracharya, object is very, very meaningful. So this is the approach. But one thing is common, that is the training of the mind of the goal. In meditation, you train your mind. This thing is common for both. Training of the mind. You train your mind. Once mind is trained, Patanjali says, once mind is trained, then you can change your object. Training of the mind is meditation. The training of the mind is only one thought continuously remain in the mind, no matter what is object. So this is the approach of Patanjali. He says any object you can take. Any object can be taken. Any. But when you have choice, you have option to choose your point. Obviously, you have choice to choose your object. Then what can happen? We can take easy one. Each one should be worldly objects because we love them. We are used to with worldly objects. We are attached with them. We think always worldly things without meditation too. And this is our problem. Only difference is in meditation and without meditation conditions, according to Patanjali, only difference would be same thought continuation. In meditation, the continuation is one thought. So what here, training of the mind is one point. It is for every seeker, no exception. It has to be done by every seeker. You do not have any option. It will has to be done by every seeker. It is a gateway of your intrinsic nature. We have to cross it. Every seeker must do it. So I made it very clear, both Shankaracharya and Patanjali, but common thing is training of the mind. The difference is the point of the meditator, the goal of the meditator. Here, meditative object is not anything. Shankaracharya is very rigid, very clear. He has not left any option for anyone. It is not an object. Shankaracharya says, in your meditation, your object of the meditation must be self, must be subject, not any object. Atma chinnataya vrittya pratyantar shunyaya. In this method, you are both sides. If you are meditating on the self, so meditator and the point of meditation both are consciousness. Both are same. Pratyantar shunyaya. Ullekhayan bijaniya sasarupataya sputam. Now see the difference. When you are meditating on the consciousness, then what happened? Between two consciousness, the bridge of the meditation will break. Meditation is a bridge. It connects to meditator and meditative point. If you think about any object, then oneness will never come. You are separate, the object is separate. Both are separate. If you think about the consciousness, then you and the meditative point consciousness, they are not different, they are same. So that is why Shankaracharya is saying again and again, your point should be consciousness. Then Sarupataya sputam, slowly it becomes clear. Now next one. Atra atmattam dradi kurvan ahamadishu santyajan udasinataya tesu tishthet sput adhighatadivat. I repeat again, Atratmattam Dridikuruvan Nahamadishu Samtyajan Udasinataya Tesu Tishtet Sput Gatadivat. The translation is by strengthening one's identification with the self and by renouncing all identification with ego, etc., one must live with no concern for them as if they were trivialities like a broken pot of the like. See the translation? Strengthening one's identification with this and giving that up with egoism and the rest, one must live without any concern of them as if they were trifling thing like a cracked jar and cloth. See, two kind thoughts should be maintained in the state of meditation. One is creation and another is destruction of thoughts. Creation and destructions both here with thought. This is a spiritual practice. It is a practice, it should be continued. Gradually, the duality between meditator and meditating will start disappearing. Meditative and meditator becomes one. Atmattam Dradhi Kuruvan. And very beginning stage, it will not come to understand. But gradually, the meditator and meditative point, they becomes identified each other. This identification should be strengthened by practice. You repeat again and again and again, like you are thinking, I am the consciousness. I repeat, I am the consciousness. I am the Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Over and over, same thought should be continued. This process will strengthen it. The meditator will come to know oneness with self. Now, it can be understood the importance of the point of meditation. Why Shankaracharya was emphasizing, insisting again and again about the point of meditation. Because oneness is needed. If you would be practicing with object like road, mountain, river, start, then this identification could not happen. The meditator is consciousness and meditative is also consciousness, then identification between consciousness is happen. The identification with the consciousness and inner is not possible. It should not be done. And so Shankaracharya says, in this way, this identification will becomes strong. I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. And simultaneously, he says, Ahamadishu Santejan. And simultaneously, your identification with the body, identification with the five seeds will be weak and weaker. Slowly, slowly, it becomes strong and another becomes weak. Now, our identification of the body, I am the body. But Shankaracharya says, again and again, meditate upon the self, then identification with the self will be strengthened. Its duration will increase. Seeker's identification with the self becomes more strong. And simultaneously, identification with the five seats becomes weak and weaker and weaker. Sooner or later, your identification with five seats would be finished. The seeker can understand very clearly, I am the not body. I am very different from the body. He says, Udasinataya teshu. Just ignore. This state is beyond attachment, detachment. You are not a attachment, not a detachment. Just ignore. Nothing. Like a broken pot. If you have any jar, it's broken. It is clear, it is jar. You are not you. You have identification, I am the body. You don't have identification, I am the jar, I am the cloth. It is very clear. Udasinataya teshu, the state sput ghatadivat, like a pot, you don't have any identification with the pot. I am the pot, no. I am the cloth, no. But I have identification with my body. Shankaracharya says, in this state, same, like you are not pot, you are not cloth, same, I am not the body. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Santi Shanti Santi. Shankaram Sankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Puna Puna Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Santi.